Oh, speaking of sketchbooks, did you know? And here's a sketchbook. Oh, isn't that fancy? What a fucking whole book of sketches that was, is, and will be. I put a thing on Instagram, a photo of my sketchbooks, and I numbered them 1 to whatever and said, pick a number from 1 to whatever, and I'll show you that sketchbook. And then they did. And the one that was picked was number 9, which I've probably put in the title, so it's kind of irrelevant for me to say within the video itself, but I did it anyway. And that's the sketchbook start. Oh, okay, right. It's been a while, but I know this is... At the time, I was gifted a big bag of marker pens, so I was using them a lot. So that's some marker pens. It's a skull. Can you see the skull? Yeah. Oh, that moment when you're sat at your desk drawing, but there's a fucking octopus on your desk. Get out of here, octopus. You're fucking in the way. You silly wet cunt. Goblin with a pig's head and a reference drawing of a pig's head, so that you can see the difference between reference drawings and drawings that aren't from reference drawings. Again, working with marker pens, figuring out what colours work, and well, you know how pens work. I don't need to. Worms. Have you ever had worms? I had them as a kid. There were little worms in my poop, and I had to take giant pills to get rid of them. I believe this was for an Inktober draw a monster every day of the month for the month of October, Inktober thing. Evidently one of those words was worms. More worms. I think this was probably too gnarly for me looking at it, and I don't know what the fuck that was, like a stingray or something. More marker pens. This skull better than previous. I quite like that one actually. It's blocky, but it's still quite skull-like. And this was just a couple of marker pen doodles to figure out which colours worked with which colours again. Salamander or gecko or lizard or some such thing. I quite like that drawing. That's quite a good one. That's one of the ones where you look back on and you go, oh shit, why can't I draw like that anymore? And then you cry for a couple of days and stop drawing and go, oh, I'm going to give up. It's not worth it. Some doodles. Troll, doll. Oh, you can kind of see the rough sketch here. I guess the word for the monster or whatever was troll. So I was like, oh, I'll do a gnarly, like a bleh troll that lives in a river troll, but with a troll's doll's head doll. Troll doll head for the troll's head. And well, that's that. Another worm with a predator mouth. I would say in Predator inspired. In Predator? A predator inspired mouth. But obviously it's just literally stolen. It's got spots from Predator and everything. I think that is probably... This monster, again, it was for the Monster a Day thing. I believe it was like Watcher or something like that. So I came up with this idea of like a little eyeball with legs running around that would run around a dungeon and like watch shit. And I developed that to have like a hand holding the eyeball. And like, yes, and that's here. I quite like these drawings actually. I think they're quite fun little drawings. So he's peeking around a corner in a dungeon here, and that's him with a penis, of course, always with a penis. Never leave home without it. Oh, that would have been mermaids for the monster. Again, trying to be a bit gnarlier with it rather than just like a standard beautiful mermaid. More little Parker. Marker experiments. Bugbear. He's not a bug or a bear, he's more of a troll creature, but they call it a bugbear. And more bugbears. These are quite cool. I believe here, as you can see, I torn the page, was my final bugbear drawing, which I was very, very happy with. And I believe I sold it. So it's no longer with us. It's gone away forever. But bugbears are quite fun little characters to draw. I quite like them. Again, like with the gecko, it's where you look back and you go, no, why don't I draw like that anymore? I think it's, as you develop, you feel like maybe you have to be more perfect in your drawings. So you sort of leave behind the carefree, throw caution to the wind sort of feeling that you once had. And you try to be more perfect. So shit like this, I was like, yeah, fucking draw a bugbear. But now I don't, and I should. I guess this was like Rat Man or Rat King or something, the monster. So I had like a guy in a Speedo with a rat. Ooh, Boobos. some nice nippity nops. This was very early on in the days of drawing nudes, I believe. Very early in the days of having that 4-colour ballpoint pen also. This was another monster. I believe this was a 2-in-1 that I did. A naga is like a snake lady, and like a pig man, pig troll, orc, man pig, man bear pig. And I combined them, so he's obviously, well, you can see sort of. No, you can't because I'm holding it off frame, so you can see what's going on. The Hulk using a car as a skateboard, so he's doing like a kick flip or a heel flip, depending on whatever. Heck boy, little demon baby. More Hulk on a car skateboard. Some little dungeon crawlers there. Dungeon. Again, playing with marker pens and ballpoint pens, a combination of the two. Drawing the Hulks. I do like the Hulk, as we all know. Again, that's what sketchbooks are for. I always say, for rough figuring shit out sketches, trying to figure out how to draw the Hulk using a car as a skateboard. And there's some more of that. Sorry, I'm knocking the fucking camera away. Guts, they're fun to draw. Oh, a man with like guts for a head. That's quite funny. Oh, and there he is. Hulk. I don't know if I showed this one off or not. I don't know how happy I was. Oh, his bum's out. Look at that. His shorts have come down and his bum's out. I don't know if you can tell what's going on, if you can see that that's a car or not. I tried to make it look like it was. I don't know. That's quite cool. I quite like it. Might use that for the thumbnail or something. Look at that. Hulk riding a car like a skateboard. Oh, yeah, I guess from there, SpongeBob guts and more guts and things. This was quite a good drawing. I think there was a prompt behind this, but I forget what it might have bloody been. Other things. That's that fella from Mad Max Fury Road. That was a good film, wasn't it? Yes. I think that's some like Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of monster sketches. Again, markers and ballpoint pens. That actually looks a lot better on camera than it does in real life. Could be another run-up for the thumbnail. Oh, and there you go. Yeah, so Creature from the Black Lagoon. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Again, I think it looks better on camera than it does in person. Because in person you can see it's got 2 or 3 different shades of black from different inks, from different pens, which, yeah, as I say, is obvious in person, but maybe less so on the Goblin. The Molestor. I guess I was trying to come up with like fake comic book covers. So this is like obviously a child molester, and the comic would be called The Molestor. Moving on. Oh, I didn't realise that was in this sketchbook. Okay, I very recently drew Ed, Edd and Eddy, and whilst doing so I had mentioned that I had done a bunch of 90s cartoon characters groups together. So I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I did Street Sharks, and I had mentioned I planned to do Biker Mice from Mars. Obviously I had done this drawing, which may have at some point wanted to turn into a painting but never got around to. I didn't realise I'd rendered it this much. I thought I'd only ever left it as a sketch. Vinny, Modem and Throttle, I think are their names. He was the cool one, obviously, because he had glasses on. Ooh, fucking prick. Again, early nudes. You can see I had not yet developed quite as clean a style as I have become known for. And a laughing Viking. I suppose around this time I was watching the TV show Vikings and had become quite enamoured with lady Viking warriors, shield maidens and such. So I'd been drawing some of them. Brush pens and things. That's quite cool actually, as far as shit like that goes. Again, I hadn't quite got my brush pen technique down, so contrast was always an issue. It's a bit all over the place. There's not enough obvious patches of what's going on. It's just sort of a mess of lines and shades. Contrast is important, folks. That's backwards. Let's fucking go this way, eh? Again, very early, but I believe that's Critters from the film Critters. Man bear pig in a bikini. Of course, obviously. I think that's quite good. His different hands, man hand, bear hand, man leg, bear leg, pig head, bear, man face. Some sexy ladies, but with a face on a body and no head, which I believe which again was in my 2017 ballpoint art book. Goblins looking at the sexy, weird, mutant goblin lady. Some sketches, another, you get it. Ducky from Toy Story with his Pez duck head and a spring body and shit. I think these were supposed to be me, little self-portraits. I don't know if it looks like me. Again, far before the beard ever came around. I was trying to capture the mood rather than whatever. And another ducky drawing, all with brush pens. You can see the green ballpoint in the background, but ultimately brush pens and little bits of ballpoint hatching and stuff. I really like that, actually. That could be another contender for thumbnail material. Yeah, with the baby in the background. Again, I think I was trying to make this look like as if it was a real thing, not some toys plastered together. So it was all like veins, and he had a real neck, and I don't know, you get it. I think that's another one, like I could actually take that now and redo it and make it look really good. Like if I painted that. I'm going to note that down, actually. I've got some post-it notes here I keep notes on. Ducky. I'm going to add that to my list of shit to do at some point. Slain from the comic Slain. Sort of self-evident, really. King Ghidorah! Or Ghidorah, or Ghidra, or however you want to pronounce it. My favourite of the Godzilla monsters, the kaiju from Toho Company. Yeah, I always did like King Ghidorah. Another King Ghidorah sketch. It's quite cool. Again, if I worked on the contrast and shit, I think I could do something with that. I was quite happy with that. It was quite a good, like, cartoony Ghidorah face. I quite like that one. Three-headed space dragon. Oh, and little baby Ghidorah. Although I think the baby Ghidorah was actually three individual things that were like melded into one. Oh, there's me. I guess me, whatever. Thinking about tits, drawing tits probably. No. Goblins, again, working on a book of goblins, so these might be quite cool things to revisit, little x-ray goblin skeleton things. Drawing of a selfie of a girl, obviously drawn to impress said girl on the internet, because that's what we do with our art, isn't it? I think that was my room at the time. Bed, desk, sofa, whatever. Oh, this is a funny one. Ewan, this painting's fantastic. I will buy it for £100,000. Really? No! Oh, his tongue's licking his little Goblin Ewan face. Oh, Goblin Ewan's cute. Look at that. How cute Goblin Ewan is. Oh, isn't he nice? Dying babies, happy dying babies. Robot Orsimo Mark II. Oh, this, I guess, like Orsimo from South Park, Cartman's robot thing that he made. Mark II, like a killer version of that with like blades and guns and shit. Bit weird, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. The concept's there at least, isn't it? Oh, I forgot I did that. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, awesome Mark II. That's not bad actually. Like metal guts and a cool gun and big fuck off blade. That's not bad. I think that's kind of like what his face looks like in the cartoon. Maybe it doesn't. I might have just made it up. But yeah, that's not actually that bad. If I remember right, this was drawn because this was going to be my friend's hamster, and then the goblin had smushed its head with a mallet, leaving a big round blood splodge. Those are its little eyeballs there. That's quite a good drawing. Funny little piece. Tits and nipples. I guess these were sketches for that. You get it. Drawing of a friend and their cat. Well, that might actually be their phone case rather than their... This is one of those ones where, like, you think, you get like an idea, like, oh shit, I'll draw that. And then you draw it and you're like, So the idea being like he's wearing a mask of a person's face facing away, but he's facing this way, painting graffiti. So you could walk past and think, oh, it's just a man face. I should have made it more evident by, I guess, having obviously backwards clothes on. Or maybe in like a big mascot suit or something, like a big bear costume facing this way, and then he's facing that way to paint graffiti on the shutter. Again, a concept I could take now and really work with, because you grow as an artist over time, don't you? You have ideas in the past and then you can rework them in the future and do stuff with them that maybe you didn't have the sort of artistic sensibility or skills to carry out previously. That's Yoda. Here is when we'd have gotten to November, when I said, send me pictures of your butts and I'll draw pictures of your butts for... And then I drew some butts. And here's me with butts on the brain, drawing butts with my tongue out again. I need to work on contrast and stuff. That's something I could take now and make look better. Work on my line weight, my contrast, and yeah, whatever. Here's some more butts, big fucking juicy ones. And some more butts. That's quite a popular one. Somebody made a relief sculpture of that. It was quite good. And then I redrew it to show, you know, development of style and skills and such. People like dancing around a weird tree thing in animal masks, naked with their willies out. But this came from a bad mushroom trip. That was one of the worst nights of my life that I've ever had. That was about 6 to 8 hours of just absolute torture. I had to keep my teeth gritted the entire time because I felt like if I relaxed, I'd fall asleep, and if I fell asleep, I'd die because it was a bad mushroom trip. So I was keeping my teeth really harshly gritted the entire time. And I was hallucinating these like bone spike things coming out of my face, and then my face would disappear and it would just be these big bone branches that came out like spider legs and then curved and split into the ground, and there were spiders running down them. Yeah, not a great night. But yeah, so then I obviously took that, inserted it into the picture to have a cult of people dancing around it in funny masks. Jesus. I mean, you can look at this and go, oh, Ewan, you are so good at drawing butts, please draw my butt, etc., etc. But ultimately, I'm a pervert, and so I do all this shit. Jews, oh, funny old Ewan. Wow. Okay, so this was from a card game I came up with called Ox, which is OX, which is noughts and crosses, because it worked on the premise of noughts and crosses. But then each of the 9 squares was a separate noughts and crosses board that was like a territory that you had to win. So you had to win 3 territories in a row. And so there was a bunch of like troop cards, which were just your basic noughts and crosses, or X's and O's or whatever you call it. So these were some of the designs for the... I'll get into the whole thing a bit later. I might make a separate video about that actually. Oh, that's that one. That's the one that was stolen. Someone took for that shitty thing I made a video on. That's going to be in my upcoming, or depending when you're watching this, current calendar that's available. Butts, more butt drawings. That was a boy who wrote my name on his and took a photo. So I drew that because that's nice. Those are quite cool drawings. I mean, more troops for my X's and O's. See, so it's like a special forces army sort of troop with a gun and like an O, so he denotes him as one of the noughts troops as opposed to the crosses. Some studies, more troops, more butts, goblin drawings in Sharpie. Shitbird, that's the end. No more sketches in the sketchbook. That's been a look through Sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you can hang out and we'll do more in the future. Let's look through more of my pile of sketchbooks.